Fourth doses are now being administered to anyone 60 and older that chooses to get it here in Ontario. As current wastewater data shows that we are seeing between 100 and 120,000 cases of COVID-19 per day. Jamie Goodfrein joins us now live from a Toronto pharmacy with more. And Jamie, you know, we've never had more cases in the community, so this makes sense.
Yeah, and according to the pharmacy owner here on the Danforth at the Shoppers, George, he tells me that as of 11 a.m. they are booked solid throughout the day, but you're still they're recommending walk-ins as well. And with more on today's rollout of the fourth doses, I want to bring in the CEO of Ontario Pharmacists Association, Justin Bates. Thank you so much for joining us once again on CP24. You know, I'm curious, Justin, from what we've heard from many people, that there's been a little bit of a lull in getting these third doses into a large portion of the population, not so much the most high risk and the elderly, but I'm curious, what's your take on the rollout of the fourth doses? Is the timing right?
Well, certainly the timing is right. We need to use all the tools that we have available, including bringing back masking mandates, getting people their third doses. I think we're at about 50% of eligible people that have received their third dose. And of course, targeting the second booster or fourth dose is another tool that we have. In addition to that, we need to make sure that we bring back testing and that we get more access and broader distribution of antivirals like Paxlovid. These are the things we can do to stay free and also to make sure that we have an open economy and we don't have to go back to public health restrictions. We want to avoid that scenario.
You've been very vocal about having for pharmacists and other primary care doctors to have the ability to prescribe and dispense Paxlovid. How much of a game changer would that be in not only preventing serious illness, but for treating those individuals who have COVID? And considering, you know, speaking to one pharmacist owner, he says every third or fourth test that he does and administers is positive. So how much would that help?
Well, when you have people going in coughing, we have a lot of people not wearing masks who are symptomatic going into retail establishments. You have people coming into pharmacies that are spreading it. So we do have a mass infection rate right now of a highly transmissible variant. So there's no question that broadening equitable access to Paxlovid and other future antivirals that are approved by Health Canada will make a huge impact. Right now, there's only a few assessment centers that are offering this. Pharmacies and primary care physicians can offer a turnkey solution. Having the test, the confirmatory test, be it an RAT or even assessing the patient and screening them for symptoms, the ability then to dispense it is a end-to-end solution, and it's all about convenience and access. We want to get this out to as many people who within that 5-day window have COVID symptoms, and that will help prevent hospitalizations and severe infection that could lead to capacity challenges within our ICU bed units.
You know, yesterday at a press conference that I was at with the Minister of Health, Christine Elliott, you know, she was asked if the government is downplaying this recent wave, given the fact that we're hearing from people like Dr. Uni, who's suggesting we could be dealing with 100 to 125,000 cases per day. And there was concerns about whether lifting the mask mandates at a time where we're having this surge in cases was the right call. And I'm curious, you know, you talked about all these, the tools at your dispense. Was lifting the mask mandate the wrong call?
Well, I mean, certainly when you look at where we are right now with the spread, looking at the wastewater data, masking is a simple tool that we can all use. We should do it regardless of a mandate when you're going into indoor gatherings. We need to keep ourselves safe. Nobody wants to wear a mask. Nobody wants to have public health restrictions. We're doing it because we want to prevent a more severe scenario from evolving and emerging, which is where we are today. So I think bringing back the mandate for certainly schools and other settings like retail makes a lot of sense. And it's a simple thing we can do to help prevent this from getting worse than where we are today.
And lastly, Justin, you know, there's been a little bit of hesitancy for many people about getting that booster dose, and now we're starting to roll out the fourth dose. And, you know, what's your last message to people out there who've been a little bit reluctant to get that booster dose? And here we are talking about right now, at least for the 60 and older portion of the population. What's your message to those individuals who still have a little bit of reluctancy?
Understood, and I think it's important to continue having the conversations with people who may be vaccine hesitant. What we can see from the data now in the billions, people who have received several doses of COVID vaccines, is that vaccines work. We know they worked before, we know they work now, and what we are seeing is spread, but we're not seeing the same severity of symptoms and hospitalizations, and that's largely due to the fact that people stepped up and got vaccinated. So it is important to protect yourself. This is another thing that we can do to prevent the spread, and I encourage people to talk to their pharmacist, talk to their doctor, get the information they need, but we need to have really strong public health messaging on the importance of getting the first booster as the third shot, as well as the second booster as the fourth shot.
Justin Bates, CEO of the Ontario Pharmacists Association, we always appreciate your time. Thank you.
Been my pleasure. Thank you.
And George, just a reminder to everyone out there that the provincial portal opened at 8 a.m. this morning. You can go ahead if you're 60 and older, or if you're an Indigenous resident, or any of their non-Indigenous household members that are 18 and older, you can go ahead and book your shot. Back to you for now.
Jamie, thanks for that report. Appreciate it.